Yo, what's good? It's M20. Today I'm going to show y'all how to make a dark Summrs type beat in FL Studio. But before I get into the video, make sure y'all subscribe and like. It takes like 3 seconds to do this and it helps out the channel a lot. But yeah, I'm going to get into it right now. So I got 6 massives on my channel rack right here, and they're all like loaded with different sounds. I just didn't want to pick them out like during the video because it would take me too long. But yeah, I'm gonna just get into the first melody right here on the first one, and then I'll explain what I did after I make it.
Six and a half hours later.
All right, so it's just a really simple melody, just 1 bar. And you can see I'm using the 1st, the 5th, and the 6th notes of the scale because this is an E minor. And I just generally think those are good for the dark beats. But yeah, instead of copying it over like this across like all of them, I'm actually gonna take it out here and here, but I'm gonna leave it like this, and I'm doing a 4-bar pattern. In order to like cover that gap, I'm gonna add some delay, and I'm gonna just turn down some of these knobs here just to make it not like too loud or anything, because like delay should always be like pretty subtle. So this is what it sounds like without the delay. And then this is with the delay. I'm gonna just turn it up a little bit so it's easier to hear, but yeah, that's how I'm gonna have it like this. And then I'm going to go into gross speed. Then I'm gonna add the half speed. You could do this with halftime, half speed, whatever. And this is just generally a good thing to do in dark beats because the half speed like pretty much always sounds good. It's just what it sounds like with these effects on it now. And repeated here, but this is gonna be a full 4-bar pattern when I'm done. But yeah, that's what the first thing sounds like. And now I'm gonna add my next melody right here. All right, so this is what it sounds like with my next melody. This is just kind of a dark pad to layer with it. So it already really has that kind of like dark atmosphere to it. And these next sounds I'm gonna add are really just to add to that. They're not gonna be anything like too noticeable, but just together they build a really nice like soundscape that makes it dark. So yeah, I'm gonna just move on to my next melody here. All right, so for this one, I'm just doing 2 notes on the root note of the scale. And this is just one of those like ear candy type of sounds. It really isn't adding much melodically, but it just sounds cool. So this is what it sounds like with that on it. So it's like kind of hard to hear. It's really in the background, but it just adds a nice texture to it. So now I'm just gonna move on to my next one. This one's also gonna be like pretty much just a background sound. But yeah, I'm gonna do this melody now.
Five hours later.
All right, so this is what it sounds like with my next melody on it. It's kind of just a dark pluck to just add like more variation to the melody. This is what it sounds like. And I'll just play it soloed because it's kind of hard to hear. So like as you could see, like this is like a good melody, but I'm just keeping it in the background because I don't want anything to be like too present or anything, because also you have to think about if somebody's gonna like rap on this, you gotta leave room for the vocals and stuff. So I try to keep everything like blended together nicely like this with the sound selection. But yeah, I'm just move on to my next one, and these last 2 are gonna be pretty simple. They're just gonna be like layering extra little sounds on. All right, so for this one, I'm really just keeping it simple. I'm doing 2 notes like this, and this is what it sounds like with this on it. It's just like a background pad. And I'll play that solo because it's really hard to hear. So it's like really just hitting on the downbeat, and then it kind of sustains through. And for this one, I'm just gonna copy it like this, and I'll pitch it down an octave. And it's just another pad that's like kind of doing the same thing. So yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's all I'm doing for my melodies. It's like pretty simple stuff, even though it's 6 sounds. I'm not doing anything too complicated, just really staying with specific notes in the scale to try to create that dark atmosphere. But yeah, I'm gonna move on to my drums now. Okay, so for my first drum sound, I'm gonna pick out a hi-hat, and I'll just go through some of the ones in my kit. I'm gonna use this one. This is my like go-to hi-hat, and sometimes I shorten it like this. This is just like a really solid hi-hat. It's pretty common, but I just like to use it. So yeah, I'm gonna just start laying down a pattern here. Alright, so this is what I have as my hi-hat. This is a really simple pattern, and I'm only doing 2 bars because I'm just gonna copy it over. It's kind of lazy, but I just want to keep it simple for this beat. So yeah, this is what it's like with a hi-hat. And now I'm gonna add some velocity changes. I think this is really important for this type of beat because it just adds like better bounce to it. So I'm gonna do that right now. Alright, so this is what I changed on the velocity. I just changed some of these 16th notes to have like a little bit of variation in them. And then I also added like velocity going down on my rolls. That like usually makes it sound good because sometimes rolls could sound like a little bit too like extreme for the type of beat. So I just wanted to keep it like kind of minimal and in the background. So I did my rolls with the velocity going down. But yeah, I'm gonna just copy this over now and that'll be my hi-hat pattern. Alright, so now I'm gonna move on to my clap. And before I do that, I just want to say that all the sounds that I'm going to use to make this beat are in my M20 Sauce drum kit volume 1 and volume 2, which will be linked in the description and pinned comment. And in the volume 2 kit, it comes with the FLP for this project. So if you missed anything that like I did or want to look closer, you can just get the kit and it'll come with the FLP. And these will all be bounced, so you don't have to have massive or anything. But yeah, I'm going to just add my clap now and use a basic slap clap on this. Really don't need a special clap sound for this beat. And I'm gonna just put it in the normal spots like this. So this is what it sounds like with the hi-hat and the clap. So already it's like a pretty bouncy pattern, and I'm just gonna add to that and accent little parts with like perks and snares and open hats, and then eventually get to my 808. But before I do that, actually, I'm gonna get my hi-hat and I'm going to route this to mixer track like this, and then I'm going to add on the mixing sauce basic hi-hat. So as you could hear, it just adds like some nice reverb and just some like nice sounding like delay and stuff to add more texture to your hi-hats. I like to use that on a lot of my beats. But yeah, now I'm gonna move on to the open hats. Okay, so for the open hats, I'm just gonna go back in here and I'm gonna pick out this one. This is like my favorite open hat to use right now. And I'll pick a basic 808 Mafia one from this kit. And I'm gonna just put down my open hats on this one right here. Just really simple placement just to accent those downbeats. And then I'll put this one here just to make it like lead into the clap nicely. So this is what it sounds like with these. So yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. And now I'm gonna just add some perks on top of this to accent parts of the drum pattern. All right, so the first perk I'm gonna add is really simple. It's in my second drum kit right here. I'm gonna use this one. It's just a nice reverb perk to add like a little bit of reverb to your clap instead of just putting reverb on the clap. So yeah, this is what it sounds like here. I'm not adding it to all of them because it would be too much reverb, but yeah, this is what it sounds like. All right, now I'm gonna add my next perk. And all these perks are really simple. Like I could do all these different like sounds with like, or all the different patterns with one perk, but just to like mix it up, I like to use a variety of sounds. For this, I'm just gonna put it right here on like the first upbeat like this, just to like accent the hi-hat. So it's just really simple pattern. And now I'm gonna add some more sounds as well. All right, so now I'm gonna add a snare. This is similar to the perk that I just added. I'm gonna go in here to this snare, and I'm gonna just put it right here. And I'm gonna put it like this. So you can see it's hitting the same as the hi-hat, and it just adds like more of an accent here, which just sounds pretty good for like this kind of bounce. So already like the drums have like a really nice bounce to it and a good rhythm. So I'm just gonna add some like vox and effects textures for the background that just kind of like add to like the darkness of the whole beat. So I'm gonna just go in here to this, and I'm gonna pick out this one. This is just a really background like random like reverb vox that I have, and I'll just turn it up a little bit because it's pretty quiet. And I'm gonna just put it on the downbeat like every 4 bars because I don't want this hitting too often. So this is what it sounds like with this. Kind of hard to hear, but it does add like kind of like an ominous like vibe to it. But yeah, now I'm gonna add another vox to it. And since there is like a little bit of pitch to this, I'm gonna pitch it down 1 semitone so it'll be in key. So yeah, that sounds really fire now. It needed some tweaking, but like I like the way this sounds with these kind of settings. So you could take these settings as well, or you could just like set them to normal, because both sound good. It just depends on like where you want to put it in your pattern. All right, so now I'm gonna move on to my 808. This is one of my favorite parts of the beat, and it's like the final thing that I usually do in my drums. I'm gonna just pick out one for this. I'm gonna go with the filtered one right here. This one is just a nice 808 to use because it's like, it has a lot of low end and kind of has the high end cut out, and I usually use it for dark beats like this one. So yeah, I'm gonna just lay down a pattern right here, and then I'll explain what I did after.
Two weeks later.
And something that I have to do is go like this, cut itself so they're not overlapping. And now I'm gonna add my master preset on here, which is also in my kit. And it's just gonna make it clip nicely with 808. So now my 808's hitting a lot harder. And I'm gonna actually add another 808 to this. This one from my drum kit 1. That's one of my favorite 808s to use. And I'm gonna just use this because it kind of adds like an unexpected like change up to the beat, because I'm gonna switch between it in the arrangement when I do that. But yeah, I'm gonna just do a slightly different pattern for this one, and then I'll show what that sounds like.
A few moments later.
Alright, so I'm gonna cut this 808 as well, and this is what it sounds like with the other pattern. Alright, so yeah, I think that sounds pretty fire, and the drums are pretty much done at this point, so I'm just gonna split the channels and do an arrangement. Alright, so this is what the full arrangement looks like, and I'll play like a little bit of the beat right here, but if you want to hear the full thing, I'm going to put a link in the description and the pinned comment to the full beat, because I just don't want to take up too much time in the video doing this. But yeah, it's going to just be another beat on my YouTube. So yeah, this is what a little bit of it sounds like. So yeah, that's about it for the beat. Thank you guys for watching. If you want all the drum sounds that I used in here, they're in my drum kit 1 and 2, which will be linked on the video. But yeah, that's about it. Make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, it helps the channel out a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.